In 1843, a fellow named William Matheson acquired a brewery near the banks of the Tarlogie Springs. He converted the Morangie brewery to a distillery. He named the distillery Glenmorangie. In Gaelic, Glenmorangie means Valley of Tranquility. Hello, I'm Dan Kroll. I'm the U.S. Ambassador for Glenmorangie Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Over the last 181 years, Glenmorangie has produced a liquid version of the people and the place and the environment and the history and the culture of where it's from. Glenmorangie was founded in 1843, very near the town of Tain. Tain is indelibly connected to Glenmorangie because the people have historically been the employees and the producers of Glenmorangie. In addition to that, the watershed that feeds Tarlogie Spring, our natural water resource that we use to create Glenmorangie, has everything to do with how it ends up tasting at the end of the day. Glenmorangie, the distillery, was reconstructed in 1887, and then there's this very modern looking glass building that stands up off the back of the distillery, and that juxtaposition of the ancient and the modern is exactly what we're trying to do at Glenmorangie. We don't ever want to forget our heritage, our history, our past, but we don't want to be hemmed in by it either. Dr. Bill Lumsden, our Director of Distilling, Whiskey Creation, and Whiskey Stocks, arguably is the most celebrated single figure in the last 30 years of modern Scotch whisky production. Dr. Bill Lumsden has been named the International Whiskey Competition's Master Distiller of the Year, an unprecedented 5 times. What he brings to the table is not only a remarkable level of intelligence, but also the mind of a dreamer. Dr. Bill arrived at Glenmorangie in 1995. He saw the potentials in a secondary maturation program. Bill's leadership and creativity took that process of secondary maturation from an obscure sort of fringe element of the production of whiskey to part of every other distillery in the country. The idea that Glenmorangie is part of the Moet Hennessy portfolio means that Dr. Bill Lumsden and the whiskey creation team at Glenmorangie will always have the support and the resources that they need to continue to be at the forefront of the evolution of not just Glenmorangie as a brand and as a distillery, but the evolution of the entire category of single malt Scotch whisky. Glenmorangie is very proud of its sustainability record, being part of the Scotch Whisky Association. The entire industry has committed to a decarbonization of the industry by 2040 and full net zero by 2045. In 2017, we established a relationship with the company Aquabio that processes the wastewater from the distillery, and we use it as part of the utilities that we rely on to keep the distillery running. Glenmorangie appeals to a drinker that is looking for an adventure. It is a wide open door to the category, a big padded velvet door throwing rose petals at your feet that draws you into the category of single malt and encourages you to explore the category more fully and to define your own whiskey journey. We generate over $100 million in revenue for the U.S. retail market. Glenmorangie is the number 4 single malt in the U.S. retail market. It is also the number 4 single malt around the globe. Single malt Scotch whisky historically has had trouble in terms of its application in cocktails. There is a subculture that exists that wants you to think that it's sacrilege to use single malt in a cocktail, and I will tell you, it's never been and it will never be. This is Glenmorangie's the original 12 years old. It represents the heart and soul of Glenmorangie the distillery. What the 12-year brings is a slightly longer story on the palate and a slightly added dimensionality. We were able to go from delicious to wonderful. The Orange Palmer is the ideal cocktail to create with Glenmorangie Original. Its components have flavor characteristics that are already reflected, making the Orange Palmer cocktail refreshing, citrusy, and sophisticated.